Marker 1, marker 2, progress with eBay marker 3, marker 1, marker 2, progress with script-based editing system, marker 3, marker 4, okay, so yeah, finally got this thing working, or at least where I can see it working. So what I did is I threw a live thing in here, so this is going to watch the thing at all times. And for a while there, it was sitting at 0%. So what it's doing right now is this thing's actually watching the lives. So I can, the idea of this, if you guys don't want to go back, it's all great, is I go back and I simply drop the videos into that file there. That's what it is. I bring a phone, like I'll be wearing the phone, then I simply drop the phone videos there, the MP4. It makes the Q file, it makes the transcription file, okay? And then once it does that, it's going to start doing everything. I don't have to, and I can walk away. I simply drop the files and I simply walk away. What it does is it's going to look for these ones right here. Look for these things. I'm doing this video right here. I've already done 1 through 4 there. I've already done those ones. I'm not going to do a time lapse in this video kind of deal. I could, but it would simply be you guys watching this. Watching as the percentage goes up kind of deal, if it'll focus. But what's happening there is it's going in 2% increments, just like it's going into YouTube. And I'm getting to watch that thing go through the pipeline all the way through the eBay, or not eBay, all the way through the YouTube pipeline, all the way up till it hits 100%. And then what I can do here is I can drop these things, walk away, you know, shut the TV off here. I'm just using a TV for a monitor kind of deal. And then what it does is it'll run through the whole thing. And then once it completes it, turn that back on. Once it completes it kind of deal, it will let the system sleep. But what I wanted to know was if it's actually uploading it. You know, I got the little thing, do not close this terminal, because this is a live terminal and it actually shows me what the system's doing live. So when this thing hits 100%, I have 2 videos, so it'll probably process the second one after this first one. But what it's doing is it'll hit 100%, and once it hits 100%, that's up. Now, did it catch these cues? I'll find out, kind of deal. It should, because I pretty much enforced these cues really heavily, and that's where I screwed something up on the pipeline. But now we got the pipeline fixed, so hopefully this is going to go up. This is probably going to go up after that kind of deal. But it's just one of these fun things. And right now I can actually see that it's working kind of deal. Whereas previously I would drop the video and walk away. And I didn't know if it was working, period. I would just come back a couple hours later and it would either be up or it wouldn't be up. And if it wouldn't be up, I'd have to wonder why it didn't go up. Maybe it's still going up. I made it run extremely slow. As you can see, it's running extremely slow so it doesn't burn up my thing. I'm working within limitations, okay? It has great graphics. It has great storage. This little computer, like gaming computer I picked up, but it only has 15 megabytes of RAM, or not megabytes, only has 15 gigabytes of RAM. So I'm asking a lot of it to do a lot of things. It's doing all the editing. And when I say editing, all it's doing is making cuts to these things, okay? All it's doing is making cuts. And it just jumped again. All it's doing is making cuts to these things. So that's the start, that's the end, you know. And in between here, I simply say these words. I'm not going to say them because it might screw something up. But it's something that I wouldn't normally say. So I say these words in here, and that does all these kinds of things. You know, that starts the take, that does the title, start, You know, that does the title stop, you know, and in between there and there is what you're actually seeing for the title here. That does the thumbnail. It takes a screenshot at when I say that completion, and yes, it actually starts the video there. So what you'll most likely hear is you'll hear a pause when I actually say that right there. I can put the thumbnail anywhere in the video. I'm just choosing to put it in the start. And then yeah, I can, after that's said, I can talk whatever. And these two are also muted. Those two things are also muted for time lapse. And it's just something, if I want to do a time lapse, it'll basically show it at 4 times speed, kind of deal. For that, there's no music in there, there's nothing there. I'm not playing around with any of that. It's simply going to be playing at 4 times speed, muted. Just something so it's a little bit better kind of deal. And then, you know, and it cuts it down by 4 times, so hopefully it shouldn't last that long. And then you get back to me talking kind of deal till the end of the thing. And I got video here, but it's actually a take. And what it is that's going to allow me to put this thing on my chest and walk around and do my normal workflow kind of deal. My normal eBay workflow, my normal garage workflow, taking things apart kind of deal. And just give you guys a you know, backstage pass to how everything works and how everything goes through, and, you know, kind of deal. And maybe I can help some people, show them, like, if I'm tearing apart a motorcycle, maybe I can show them, you know, don't do this, otherwise you'll break this tab. Everybody breaks this tab, and this is why. You know, they remove it by prying up, and they should be prying to the left, or whatever kind of deal. And same thing with, like, cars interiors. If there's a right way to do it or a wrong way to do it, or maybe I screw it up. You know, I actually, you know, or it's already broken kind of deal, and I done everything perfect. You know, you still find it broken. Never happens, you know, kind of deal. And just stuff like that. But I have this thing, which do not close this terminal. Now, basically never close this terminal, and I have the other terminal over here. That this is my live terminal, this is my watching terminal. This one's always going to be open. That one's going to be closed because it's just GTP helping me. And that, so all I'm going to have is this window and this window kind of deal, and then it will, simple as that. I can simply take when I get this other phone here, phone's going to be a camera. It's like an S23 Plus. It's good enough. 512 gigabytes, so yeah, I can record 10 hours without issue at 1080p, 30 frames per second. I just drop it in there, and then I walk away, and that should be where I'm at, kind of deal. That if I get there. But right now, this is a good little amount of progress. It's actually uploading. I'm watching the live upload here, and like it should upload this and then upload that. And once this goes all the way through, I'm going to do a couple more checks and everything, make sure everything's good. And then I'm going to let potentially the other ones upload. And then when it says it's all done, I have this set up so it doesn't do anything else. It doesn't print out any basic, it doesn't print out any extra stuff kind of deal. It simply just stops at when it's 100% done. The system goes to sleep, as it should, because it saves power that way. And then when I come back, I basically I'll turn off the TV, and basically when I come back, I'll hit it. I hit the keyboard, or I hit the space bar like 3 times, and it wakes it back up. And then I can see 100%, no question, done. You know, but that might take, I have it running, uploading extremely slow, so I don't hit that RAM limit. So, you know, like you're saying, it's 42%. It's probably going to jump to 44. But I ain't no rush here. And like I'm saying, this is a walk. There you go, 45 for something. It shouldn't have jumped to 45, but whatever. Should be doing 2%. For some reason it jumped to 45. Okay, whatever. Maybe it'll fix it and jump to 46 next. I don't know. But it's one of those deals where, there you go. You know, simple as that. It's staying within my limitations kind of deal. And like I'm saying, it's simply a drop. What I'm going to do is I'll record for like 5 or 6 hours, and then I'll drop it. And it splits all the takes up. And I got one of these is like a 3-take one. One's a simple one, but it's a long form. It's like, I think it's only like, it's like an hour. One's like an hour just to check my long form. That goes up without issue. And then the other one's a multi-take. It's 3 takes in one video. This is going to be a single take also. But the ideal is to have it, me do these and do multi-takes throughout the day. So I can get like 5 or 6 videos over like a like an 8-hour span or whatever, you know, and when I say videos, I mean like 10 minutes, you know, kind of deal. I'm not, but also in between those videos, I'm talking too, you know, so as long as I don't say these things, and like another thing is if I screw up, I simply say that number 1, and that'll set the thing. It'll reset it. So if I do screw up, I can go all the way down there, all the way to number 6. I can't make sure I don't say it. I can go all the way to number 6, and that'll let me, and then if I go all the way to 6 and then I screw up, I can go and simply say number 1, and then it'll retake it, and that'll start a new take. The only ones that are completed are between number 1 and number 7, and trust me, that has caused a couple issues, because if it doesn't detect number 7, it doesn't actually complete the take. So I've had to harden that, and actually not harden it, loosen it, so that it would pick it up over multiple lines of transcription. But now I got that going on. We're at 49% kind of deal. So it's jumped from like 2% to still doing 2%. It just jumped to 45 for some reason. But that's the point, is I'll be able to come back, like, let's drop this thing. I'm done for the day, you know, drop it, and drop the videos here, the little purple folders there. The white ones are made by the system. And then it will simply let it go, and then upload all the way through there. And that way when I come back the next morning, you know, I'm going to have a dedicated camera for this. So simply plug it in, drag it from the phone folder into this folder right here. That one right there. And then simply let it go. You know, let it go kind of deal. And it will run through the entire system. And then it'll run through the entire system. And then when I come back the next morning, I'll see this thing's hit 100% on both the folders. And it's done. And then there's no question of me waiting several hours and wondering if it went up, which is what I've been doing for the last couple of days. Yeah. So, and this is also, you know, if it does hit 0%, like it was doing this morning, and we're wondering why it's hitting 0%, or it starts saying start right there, and it didn't produce anything for like 15 minutes, now we know why. Because it actually wasn't, it was hitting it, but it wasn't seeing it. So now it's seeing it, so now it's actually uploading, and hopefully it does upload those correct take things. I can't say the actual word. Actually, it does hit those actual take things. Actually, I can say the word, but I'm not going to. Kind of deal. I can say the word. It's detected as long as I don't say the word and the number exactly, because then it'll detect it and then it'll do the thing that it's supposed to do. Kind of deal. But that's where I'm at here. Is this thing is finally uploading. It's finally doing exactly what I wanted it to do. I've had it do this a couple times, but when I get that, sometimes it doesn't pick up the cues. Now I've hardened the cues in the system, and now it, yeah, now it's going through. And like I'm saying, this video is also a cue video. So I have it checking things out. I'm simply dropping these things. I'll probably drop these after this one's done, which will probably actually take I don't know, it depends. If it's only done the one video, this one will probably be done like 40 minutes to an hour. I'm not going to have you guys sit here the entire time. The other one is actually a huge video, and if it hasn't downloaded that yet, or if it hasn't uploaded that one yet, I don't think it has, that one's probably, it's 3 takes, but it's probably 2 hours. Once again, I'm testing things. Simple as a test. I don't plan on doing things that long. That's just a hard test. If it works, I know everything's working. And I can do something stupid like that later and not have to worry about it. That's what I'm putting it through its paces right now kind of deal. And then, so this one's going up kind of deal. And then if this works, I might check 2 or 3 things. And then if this all works how it should, so these things, you shouldn't hear the first 3 there. You might, in the 4th one's going to be muted. So you just hear a huge pause when it does the thumbnail there. But the first 3 shouldn't be heard. If the first 3 are heard when this goes up, I know it's messing up the cues still, and I got to go through and play around again. But at least I know the pipeline's 100% correct. And now that we know that, I can enforce don't screw the pipeline again. Simply enforce cues because the pipeline's 100% moving. Because somewhere along the line, I was enforcing cues, and somewhere in one of those lines or like one little slash, it messed up the pipeline. So now I got the pipeline back. It's being uploaded to YouTube right now. And I'm able to see it uploading live kind of deal, which lets me know everything's uploading perfectly. It's just taking forever because I'm staying within those upload limits. And if it doesn't stay within those upload limits, I've had that happen, where it gets to like 30% and then it hits a hard wall and it shuts the entire system off to protect it kind of deal, and shuts the entire thing off, which is always like, what the, one of those. Then I can also see that also, and then I can go back and be like, why did it stop here? Kind of deal. So this is actually letting me see things live. And like I'm saying, I'm going to have that window, when this is finalized, I'm going to have that window open and this window open, and then I can drop them in there, shut the TV off, let it run, as long as it needs to run. It'll give me this full thing without me watching it, and then I'll walk the next day. I'll turn it on the next day. The phone will probably be charged because it's been plugged in for 8 to 10 hours. And then I'll simply pull the thing from here and good to go. Simple as that. We're good to go, and I can start another day. Simple as that. And I know it's done. There's no question about it being uploaded or not, which is, like I'm saying, the issue that I was having. So I'm happy it's going finally. I have evidence it's going how it should, and yeah, so it's going, it's showing it's going, everything's working. I got timestamps there in case something screws up. I know it stopped here. If it lose power right now and I restore the power, it shouldn't be an issue. I'm gonna have to test that. Probably shouldn't, not now. I will later. I'll do a hard shut off. Yeah, okay, whatever. Just got some spam there. But yeah, it's simple as that. It's going. I'm happy it's going. And it should be the shorter of the videos here. I should have 3 takes. I got to make sure it's still doing the takes correctly, kind of deal. But yeah, important, do not touch anything right now. So yeah, I don't want to be changing anything, which is why I'm just shooting this video right now, which will probably go up tomorrow kind of deal. And hopefully I'll have it fixed, or it won't go up because I find a screw up kind of deal. But yeah, that's what this is. This is also another one of another test, and I'm just gonna keep doing these tests, and these tests aren't tests anymore, they're actual live videos. I'm actually documenting this thing right now. So hopefully it's fixed. If it's not fixed, whatever, I'll fix it. But yeah, I'm like pretty happy that it's actually moving right now. So that's some progress with the pipeline. And yeah, folks, it's been a fun day. But whatever. So we're getting it through. And what this is it's something to do videos without having a huge disruption in workflow. Like I'm saying, I can shoot 5 hours. I could do the little, let's say, record it, have the thing sitting on my chest. I have the chest thing upstairs. This is my normal phone. The other phone's probably showing up here in probably 7 or 8 days. And then I'll have the thing mounted on my chest. And then I can actually do this workflow where I wear the thing for 5 hours and just record. And between number 1 and number 7 is a take. I can have several takes in the videos. Anything that's not between number 1 and number 7, it doesn't care about. I can talk on the phone, I can do whatever, it won't record any of that. Only thing it's going to record is number 1 and number 7 there. And yeah, that's how it's designed. It's let me tear apart cars. I'll be wearing the thing apart. I'll be wearing the thing on my chest at all times. And if it does, I decide, hey, this would be cool, quickly, say that number 1, go through, make a quick title, do a quick thumbnail, and then just talk about whatever I thought was cool. And then at the end there, say number 7, and there you guys go. And that'll be a take. And like I'm saying, I can do half a dozen of those in like a 5-hour run, and then simply drop them into this folder. Plug this in, drop it into that folder. Probably not even remove it. I don't even have to remove it from the chest thing. And another thing is, I only have to hit record once. It's far enough from my chest. I'm not going to accidentally bump it, kind of deal. You know, it's real hard to bump. It's actually hard to turn on, hard to turn off, but that's a good thing, you know. So bump it, kind of set it up kind of deal. The only thing I might want to do is I might have the screen turn off or like go to sleep after such and such to save battery. On the battery front, I got a big old 40,000 whatever. That'll kick the thing up to a full 8 hours and keep it running if I need to. Or whatever, you know, and simply have it plugged in the entire time, have that little brick in my pocket, or maybe get a smaller brick later, I don't know. I'll figure it out. That's my personal thing. I'll end up buying one for the business later. But there you guys go. And that's what I'm doing, is I simply do all that, plug it in, drop it, and walk away. And then it does all these, and they're rough cuts. You know, so I'm keeping it as real as possible while still being able to do these things rough cuts. And that way you don't get the strange, goofy face, you know, because it decides it wants to do the thumbnail right here when my eyes are half closed and, you know, whatever. Instead of doing that, I have these. I have these so I can put that thumbnail right where I want it, you know, within like a second of where I want it anyway. And just got to hold still when I say that. So you'll see me like hold still and no audio. That's a thumbnail. You know, that's why I did that. And that's what the thumbnail image is, kind of deal. And like I'm saying, I could put that anywhere in the video. Be a lot better if I put it in the start, you know. That way it's covered and I don't forget it. If I do forget it, it's going to do the autofill or whatever, just by default. And that's also coded in here. Everything's coded in. It's all fun. But there you guys go. This one has, you know, a little over 20 minutes. Actually, we're at, here, I tell you the time lapse, you can actually see the difference. Right now we're going to come up on 22 minutes and 5 seconds. 3, 2, boom. 22 minutes right there. So you guys aren't actually going to see that because the start, like I'm saying, those first ones were not included. So, you know, so you guys are going to be slightly off, but it's as close to raw as I can give it without while having the scripts do all the editing for me. So that's what this is. We are at 77% and we haven't screwed up yet. I'm going to end it here. Hopefully it'll all work out. If it doesn't work out, I'll have to play with it some more. But there I am with the progress. I'm building this thing from scratch, folks, and I'm doing it pretty much me, myself, and I. You know, huge team of 3 there. And yeah. So anytime you build something like this, you got to go through and fix all these little glitches and patches and all this kind of fun stuff. And when you do that, sometimes you create more glitches and patches. Yeah. And when you get it all the way there, 79%, and you get it all the way there, it'll actually go through. Hopefully, you know. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. And a simple thing where I need to, like I'm saying, the idea is I make the videos throughout the day. Midday, I drop the things and walk away. And then the next day, I can check them. And they should be 100% right there. And if I see it in errors, at any errors, I can see there was an error at, let's say, 92% or 98%, there was an error. Something came up. I don't know. At the very end of the pipeline, something happened, but I'll be able to see it because I have the live log here. And when this is done, this is an empty folder, by the way. This is just for me. It's just do not close this terminal, you know. But that's just, you know, at the end, I'll be able to see it. It went all the way up without issue. It went all the way up with the issue. Review the video. Well, it still has me saying these cues. Still has me saying those words. Well, now I need to push the thing somewhere and fix it. Please be as patient. If you do see these videos, thank you for watching. It's just me showing this, like I'm saying. It's not a good system, or it's not a perfect system. When I first started this, I was going to use a simple foot pedal. That's what I started with, I was going to use a foot pedal. But then I was like, well, what if I accidentally hit it 4 times instead of 3 times? Okay, I started to play around with that, and then I was like, no, that's still not going to work. What if I do this instead of that? No, that's still not going to work. No, that's not going to work in the barn. There's no way to have the foot pedal in the barn. You know, so I switched from that to actual spoken words here, and then the first rendition of that was these were the spoken words, and it wasn't picking them up perfect. You know, so I went from that system to this system, where it picks these up a ton better. You know, it picks these up a ton better because it's not stuff that you'd normally hear like title. You know, you might actually hear me say title and it might try to transcribe that. I can say thumbnail without it pegging thumbnail. You know, instead of that, I have that one. So, yeah, this is my cheat sheet. I almost don't need it. I've probably done this is like my 40th video right now, and you guys have only probably seen like 5 or so because I've been going through and basically deleting them, but I'm not going to delete them anymore. I figure I'm close enough to where it shouldn't be an issue, and I will just have to tighten the cues here, but it's going up. So I know the pipeline's good at this point. I might have to tighten the cues a little bit more, or loosen them, tighten them or loosen them, I don't know exactly, so that they're picked up better, or potentially I did screw up a cue on that video, but like the one that has 3 cues in there, 3 takes, mind you, let's go with that, 3 takes in one video. It's highly doubtful I missed these things 3 times, especially because I make sure I'm saying them, you know, like I'm saying in this one. So I'm going to wrap this up by saying that last one right here. By saying that last one. Sorry for my chicken scratch. For that last one there. And that should end it. And if I do this right, you guys shouldn't hear it because it should catch it half a second before that's said. It's going to catch it, but it'll stop the audio half a second before it's said. So I'm going to say that now. And maybe I'll say a couple things after. And if it messes up, you'll hear the other things after. And you also hear the first 3 things also. At the very start of this, you'll hear the first 3 things to let me know. Screw that up too. So we're going to go through and play around. If you hear the first thing and you hear the last thing, then we'll know it all. Those 2 were hit good. And it simply... it's not detecting them or something. So I'm going to say that right now, and then maybe I'll say a couple words later, and that will make sure it's detected, make sure it's not doing anything after the fact. But yeah, I'm going to say that right now. Marker 7. Like I'm saying, you guys shouldn't hear any of this right now. If you are, the cue system screwed up, and I got to play around with it. But if you are not hearing this, then it probably worked, or at least it ended in the right spot. So we will see. It's simple. I got it to the point where I shouldn't do checks anymore or force anything. Right now, I'm just letting it go, and then letting it go all the way through 100%. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, I gotta go through and find out why. But there we are. So hopefully you guys don't even see this part. I'll let you go. Thank you.